Hello everyone. I thought I only have about a half hour here, so you've written in a lot of good questions. I just kind of took a glance, so I want to get through them as much as I can here and see if I can't get a lot of these questions answered. I'm so backed up with you guys. You're so good out there. I tell you, I'm real proud of you all. I love you all. And you just keep burning the midnight oil, baby. You just keep working it, keep working it, keep working it. And take a break if you have to, whatever you have to do. Keep digging into your body while you have the focus and really rebuild this machine here and get your body healthy and get yourself free from so much thinking and so much desires and live in that ever-present moment. Just spend a day, just be here now. Just tell yourself, be here now, be here now, be here now. Watch, observe the things going on in life and pull yourself away from being the actor on the stage to maybe the director that's watching the play, and directing it on the backside. Yep. So I want to get through these, a little of these. So appreciate you all. I hope you like those last videos we did. I tried to get kind of a lot of them there real quick on you, unfortunately, but I just have to grab when I can. Now this question is from Curt Is, and he says, is there any chance that the growth factors in deer antler could grow a tumor or make it harder to remove one? Well, we have the ultimate immune formula that has the antler in it. And I've not seen that. I don't use that formula initially for, let's say, someone in here with tumors. Not for that reason, just it's a cell strengthener. It's a little on the expensive side, so I kind of use that to strengthen cells after I get the acids out. But I don't see any reason why one couldn't use that one. That one particularly focused on the bone marrow. But now we have a bone marrow formula. Remember, a tumor is a pocket of fluid. So most of a tumor is fluid, interstitial fluid. So you see blood and lymph, predominantly lymph. It's like popping a big tumor or boil. You see a lot of pussy, nasty stuff, but you see a little blood. That's basically interstitial fluid. And that's what's the problem is. You don't see a boil or a pimple or a cyst or a sty or a tumor unless there's a blockage that's blocking these fluids from flowing, something that would back them up. And of course, as you know, that's the kidneys, filtration issue. That is also the skin not being able to sweat with low thyroids. That's blocking elimination of cellular waste, which is dealt with interstitial fluids, or the lymphatic system, simplistically stated. So this is why our focus. So when you see a tumor, the growth factors would not affect the fluid. It would affect the cell. The cell is what's damaged by acids, and anytime you can strengthen a cell that's been damaged, the proof that we can do that is women that come in here with atypical cells, that's vaginal cells that are being damaged by acids. And then we use the Heal All T as a douche, and you see those cells return back to a normal state of health. That's how you can see that you can convert a damaged cell back. At what level you can't do that, and then a macrophage has to take care of the cell, I couldn't tell you. We've never seen and registered the electromagnetic energetics of a cell, and when a cell is slated for termination, where those magnetics go. I mean, there's a tremendous amount of study that can be done on the electromagnetic frequencies of cells, just when cells then adapt and change, the times that mutates the chromosomes or the mitochondria or whatever in a cell, and see the frequencies of things. There's so much great study that money could go on instead of the cancer research crap that doesn't exist really. I mean, this is insanity. We already know what damages cells. We already know how to fix that. That's not the issue. But learning the frequencies would be a fun thing to do and learn, even though you're going to do the same thing to repair those things. So that would be my take on that I don't think you would see that factor at all. That a tumor is, the fluid is the biggest problem of this issue, although the cell is where the buck stops there. Hi, Doc, this is Jal. I lose my hair really bad, and even more since I started eating only fruit. I know it takes time for hair to grow, and I know that the fruit diet gets lots of acids out at the same time, and that is probably why my hair loss gets worse. Absolutely. And there's another thing to that too. That is that the body does get rid of weaknesses, and there's no question. If you come in here with you've been a bodybuilder, you've been pumping the protein powders, you can kiss those babies goodbye. Inferior tissue is exchanged for superior. It's just like in nature, gets rid of its weaknesses and procreates its strengths. This is why mama bears look for strong big bears, big papa bears. They don't go to the weak little baby papa bears or the weak papa bears. They want the strong. That's why you see the battles, the strong survive, those genes are passed. In the humans, we haven't felt that. We've done just the opposite. We're procreating our weaknesses. And now we have serious, serious issues because we weren't looking at nature and learning. And now we have to. That's the barometer, not some chemist in some lab that's working on theories. This planet is not a theory. It's an actuality at this level, of course. At another level, it doesn't exist. But at this level, it exists in this time and frame. And you can see how the Creator made everything fit and work. So I started to put castor oil packs on my hair, wrap with foil, and sleep with that to wash it off in the morning. Well, I don't know if that's a good idea. I tell you what, upper circulation. I use that formula a lot for hair growth. So upper circulation, brain and nerve are two formulas I just love. I mean, for memory loss, for inspiring in your children. When you use those two in your children, their academic levels, their levels of comprehension go way up. I mean, it's incredible to see what you can do with those two formulas. One moving blood more aggressively to brain tissue, the other right in the brain cells themselves. So I would really work that way. Check if you have a little pituitary weakness. This might also be involved. Keep in mind that acids do take off hair. And this could just be damaged hair that you've damaged so much of this. I would do scalp massages and just trying to get better blood flow, but the upper circulation does well. The big issue is to have a cold and flu-like symptom and some way to drain your sinuses. And to drain this whole brain, get all the lymph nodes cleared and get everybody draining from upstairs. Get a picture of your eyes and I think you'll see where your problem is with that. Is it safe to do it every night? Castor oil, as far as I know, is safe, but it's an anti-inflammatory. I've always been concerned about doing too much oils. I think the FDA is against too much oils, and I kind of am too. So I wonder about too much oils and doing that. I don't think it's going to enhance hair growth. If anything, you could massage upper circulation in there. I don't think you would even need to do that. Or antler, the ultimate immune formula would definitely inspire some hair growth, that sort of thing. But upper circle, brain and nerve, and move your lymph are the two things that you can put hair on bowling balls with. This is Jannie. First, I would like to thank you for teaching about health. Well, thanks, Jannie. It brings me much needed hope and comfort. Oh, thanks. Well, that's the whole point here, is that we must empower ourselves as humans. We've waited for governments and associations like the American Dietetics Association, and so we've gotten so brainwashed with theories and ideas and wrong concepts that most people don't have a clue. So they're disempowered. They're almost stagnant. They don't know what to do or what course to take. And of course, the money buys. And it's amazing that a species like the human is willing to sell out their mother for $1. I mean, that's basically what it is when you look at this whole thing with GMOs and everything else. It's that simple. It's simple, Monsanto. If you think you have a superior product, stick your chest out and advertise it that way. Prove it. And so putting GMOs on a label, it should make you proud. But this just shows you the corruption that they know exists. They know it isn't a superior food by any stretch of the imagination. It's not going to be. And yet, you'll hear them talking about the studies and all this crap. Well, then leave people alone. Let them put labels on there. Big deal. But that's what you see. When you see people fight, it's like the government. When you put truth in front of someone's eyes and they start backpedaling, obviously there's a problem. If you stand for truth, you stand tall. It's that simple. And if you're wrong, you're wrong. If you're right, you're right. If you're wrong, you want to be proved right or wrong, and that way you can change the way you perceive. This is how great civilizations on other places are built, with the love and the camaraderie of the oneness, not the corruption that you see here for the buck. No, money is not worth anything like what we've got going here. Nothing is worth that. Now, both from his own sake and from my husband, he has cerebral ataxia, and therefore problems with speech, balance, coordination, and falls a lot. Well, remember, this is a big part of the cerebellum here. So you really got to get his kidneys filtering, do those neurolymphatic points down his back to see if you can get more rapid drainage. If you were going to do anything with this, you could do a castor oil pack on this, but I will say that cold water on the back of the nape of the neck and in the cerebellum. This is a lymphatic problem. This is acidosis. This is what medical term, I guess, would be inflammation, although that should be a standard term that people can use. The other side of that would be chemistry, would be acidosis. And you can fix this. Upper circuit brain and nerve would be real good for this individual as well. At the same time, fixing the kidneys, the adrenals, get your lymphatic system moving and get all this inflammation, all this swelling, all this acidosis out of the brain, out of the cerebellum. The autonomic nervous system, this is where all this problem's coming. Center of balance, coordination, falls a lot. That's right back here at the cerebellum. Also, flipping blood pressure is another problem we can have with this. I have a lot of minor health issues, major stress in my life since my many years now, and deals with brain overload and more. Well, you know, I hope that these videos can help each and every one of you to whatever degree you can use them. Because, you know, it's enough that man suffers, and he's just lost his remedy, and I don't know if he ever had one. I don't know if we're just building upon ignorance or we're cycling through it. But we have to make a change in the human condition, and the only way is to understand the simplicity of health and the simplicity of why we lose it. You know, it is not a college education needed to understand this. That's ridiculous. That's all hype. And therefore, we look to that. Oh, he's been to college. He's academically smart. He knows. That's a big fat lie. And we just got to wake up to that and go to your simpler healers. Most of those guys can heal you far more than any college grad, and that's part of the problem. You know, and so this is why I talk a little bit sometimes about academics. Not that I'm against academics, but in proper context and understanding how schools need to learn how you bring the individual outside of the mind as well as using the mind. You have to learn both. Because in teaching the mind, which is just a computer, teaching the mind thought images, it's stuck with those. And it's very difficult, as you can see, for someone who's been educated to get out of their educated conditioned thinking. And a lot of that's not even true. A lot of it's theories that are not based up any facts, but just some guy had a theory. You know, and it's like, no. And in actuality, most of these are not working well with the human state of health and the human state of condition. I mean, you see in this country, the learned Obama, the constitutional attorney, what happened there? You just see all this stuff, and it's just gotten ridiculous. I did a water fast for 10 days in October, and to my surprise, I got very bad oxygenation. Wow, what was that? I could barely do anything at all. It kept being so a while after I finished fasting. Is this because of a lack of adrenal function? You hit it right on the head. You hit it right on the head. Because when you start fasting, you start pulling those things that are stimulants out of you. And so then you could go down to your genetic past with your adrenals, and what a shocker. Some people find real low blood pressures. I wouldn't say this is oxygenation problems as low neurotransmitter problems probably. And you're just seeing the adrenals in the state that they're at. That's why glandulars are really good for adrenal exhaustion, especially the right ones. But then you get your adrenal herbal formulas and you start working on these adrenals. Of course, they're sitting on top of your kidneys. And of course, if you're having adrenal exhaustion, you're having kidney filtration problems. That's almost a given. So you really want to look at this whole matrix thing of what's going on with you there and fix these things. I would like to do a water fast again because I really, well, do a fruit fast. Work yourself to a water fast. Do fruit fast first. Build yourself up a little bit, and then that'll dig you in deep enough to where a water fast then will give you a more pleasurable experience. That's why I don't water fast people for a while. We want to clean them out, get the kidneys filtering, so everything is a better experience. And I think you should work yourself to a water fast, going through the doorway of, say, if you can't do a 40-day grape fast, something's wrong. So you can do a 10, 20, 30, 40-day grape fast and then do a water fast down the road from that. At least you're getting the kidneys turned on, the adrenals turned on, everything's turning on, getting the worms cleaned out of you, getting all this done, and then water fast. You'll find it better, you'll dig deeper, and it'll work a lot better for you. I think jumping too quick on a water fast isn't smart. One general subject, though, that is causing confusion to me is the one about sulfur. You are often saying that sulfur can be accumulated in the body, and this is a bad thing. Absolutely. Matter of fact, I don't have her chart right in front of me. I just had a client leave here, and she's a classic example of extreme sulfur. Her eyes are almost all orange. So she has extremely bad gas problems. She's burning all the way up. Her esophagus is swollen. They've removed her thyroids and parathyroids. I mean, she's been a mess that way. So either in her mom or early on in childhood when she had a lot of lymphatic problems, they gave her a lot of antibiotics. Well, now she's dry eye, she's extreme dehydration, high acidosis, and of course, extreme gas problems. And you just don't want sulfur building up in the body at all. Most people don't get along with cruciferouses even. The sulfur veggies, the cauliflowers, the broccolis, the cabbages, things like that. I have even read that sulfur from meat, etc., is processed by certain intestinal sulfur reducing bacteria, and that they form sulfides, and the combination with water in the intestines become corrosive sulfuric acid. You see what I'm saying? And that's a big issue there. And this could be really exactly what you're saying: the production of sulfuric acids, different levels of sulfur compounds, the extreme gas and bloating, the burning of the cells, which will lead you to nothing but cancer. The mutation of the cells. Oh, it is a bad thing. So I don't know. They still use sulfur derived antibiotics. They push glucosamine, chondroitin, sulfur compounds, and the natural side, which I'm totally against that too. Anything that's a sulfur derivative, stay away. Sulfites, sulfates. As a matter of fact, you see advertising on TV, shampoos sulfur-free. Get away from the abrasive and corrosiveness of sulfur. Hello, well, I thought that was supposed to be good for you. That's what it was touted. See, that's what I'm saying. Intellectually, at one time, scientifically, sulfur is good for you. Now we're learning, That's why I'm saying we got to get away from man and go to God. You'll be a lot better off looking at nature and how nature does things as opposed to buying into the intellectual machine of allopathy and everything else. It's making life worse and worse and worse. And you got to stop. But sulfur also exists in vegetables such as leeks, cabbage, and in a natural way, the body could use some natural sulfur, except when you already have lots of sulfur backed up, and then these foods really tear you apart. But in a natural way, some sulfur, in a minor way, can be beneficial, as is arsenic, in a minor way. Distant cousins, not brothers and sisters. Because those aren't good as a brother or sister. Arsenic isn't good as a brother. It'll kill you. Treat it like a distant cousin in chemistry, and it's a micro trace element. So that's the saying. When things are supposed to be traces or micro traces, it's a good place for them to be. People say these are healthy. I disagree with broccoli and cauliflower and these things of being health veggies. I disagree with that. I think that the reason they said these are good cancer foods is simply because the medical establishment thought cancer is some kind of miracle cure or miracle substance. Remember, you used sulfur compounds in the old days to try to cure things, and it's like, ooh, I disagree with all these. This is Jannie from Sweden. I'd like to give my herbs to you, honey, but Sweden signed on to the Codex thing. You can't hardly get in. I'm interested about this. This is James. Listen, James. Dr. Morse, an update for you on my gene therapy. The doctors have told me that a gene depletion, CNGA3, is present in my DNA, and the gene therapy will attempt to replace. Keyword, attempt to replace that. My question to you is this, and then I don't see any more on here, honey. You know what? I don't know if there's any negative effects with gene therapy. I haven't heard any sensational benefits, but try it and see if it's, find out if there's any repercussions, any negative aspects to it. Always find out the side effects of anything first to make sure you want to live with that, that they know of. I can't imagine your body not rebuilding the genes in it from these higher levels of healing. We've seen nothing but genetic repairing of tissue. So I don't see that's an issue for us. But, you know, I mean, you can be a good guinea pig, let us all know. See, that's what I don't buy into half of these things. The reason you lose these things is always acids, and the reason you gain them back is regeneration. I'm a full believer in everything I've seen in my life of regeneration of tissue, beyond the genetic memories, back into more of the blueprint of the originality of the cells in the first place. So I think we're on a much better road to rebuild genetic deficiencies, if we could say that, or genetic weaknesses. I like that instead, because when you say you're missing a gene, it's like, how do I get a gene back? And I think that kind of theory is ridiculous, because you can rebuild tissue. You can rebuild and rememorize cells, just like you could change your memory patterns. So I think this goes a lot more than what quantum physics has even gotten into at this point, but you know, I mean, you see it all the time. The iris shows genetic lesions disappearing. You see the removal of the symptomology of the weaknesses. You see all of that gone. So I think we can prove that to as much as it's provable. But then I have a hard time with some of these labs and stuff. You got to be careful about some of this level of the gene and stem cell, because we've already told you about the stem cell stuff. You have to be real, real careful what's going out there. And the stem cell theory isn't holding a lot of water lately, and a lot of people are having negative reactions to that. Remember, I told you we had a stem cell researcher in here, which you met on YouTube, and she left because there was nothing going on. So I don't know, you know, I'm saying that cautious to the wind when it comes to medical thinking, because there is hundreds, if not millions of people right now suffering because of the long-term effects of pharmacology on people. And then, of course, there's millions of people under the ground because of pharmacology. So you got to stop at one point and not blame herbs and supplements and stuff like that. Blame pharmacology, because they're out of control mad scientists that are being allowed by FDAs and things to use fatal event products on people. And then say someone got hurt on a nerve and they come on down on us. I think there's some serious karma going on there. And if I was part of the FDA, I wouldn't want bad karma. That's because only one person's got to reap karma. That's the self. My name is Sarah. I am very, very, very sick with mercury toxicity. Ooh. Sorry, Sarah. I have a lot of brain issues as well, because that's where mercury loves to go, of course. Entire body, cellular stuff. My question is, can I heal from this without chelation, and what kind of diet do you recommend? I know the body needs protein, but now can I fix and repair my brain cells? Sent from my iPad. Sarah, first of all, the body can't use protein. First of all, get to understand that. The body has to have some amino acids found abundantly in fruits, berries, melons, and in, of course, vegetables. Stronger animals get the vegetables, which is your bigger boys, your horses, your cows, your rhinoceroses, your elephants. The primates, which are designed very similar to us, get all the fruit amino acids. They pretty much, not too many of the big boys even mess with the gorillas. I just have to say, you got to be a hungry lion to mess with a big gorilla. You know, you might think you can deal with that, but a gorilla can rip a lion apart. These are strong animals, and we're judging weaker animals. I don't know where this protein myth has just got its originality, but it is totally a false and a myth. Those that eat high protein are not your stronger people. They are your stinkier people. They get high acidosis. They are your inflexible people. This goes on and on and on. So first of all, ditch the protein kind of concepts here, because you need to detox. So getting mercury out, I tell you what, I'd probably do some a green drink where I would add maybe some kelp, and I would add some alfalfa, and I would add spinach, and I definitely would add parsley and cilantro, and I'd do some green juices, dandelion greens if you could find them. I would do maybe a couple of green juices, but really you want to move lymph. The difference between looking at mercury in the blood and a hair analysis could be quite significant, because the body is going to plaque interstitially this mercury, and this is a neurotoxin, so the ability of mercury to adhere to the myelin sheath is probably strong. So this is going to be detox lymphatically more than blood. So I'm really not into chelation therapy and messing with the blood with that. I'm not really on that side, because your fruits and your berries and your melons and your green drinks will do a far better job. It'll clean, enhance, and rebuild too. So, well, I would really hit that. If you got mercury fillings, I'm sure you've taken them all out. But I would do that sort of thing. Really dig in with the grapes, probably the best detoxifier of mercury. Get into the really moving lymph. Get your kidneys filtering. The same thing we're talking about. Clean out the liver. Use herbs for the liver. Clean the liver. Clean the spleen. Get your spleen cleaned out. And really start moving those lymphs, and really try to get a cold and flu, really try to get lymph moving out of your head. At the same time, I'd use brain and nerve and upper circulation. I love these two formulas. That's what I'd be doing, because it'll move blood aggressively to the brain cells. It'll impart better oxygenation of the brain tissue. At the same time, brain and nerve will start supporting what the mercury's breaking down. And that's how I would go after that, Sarah. Sorry, I have to go kind of fast, but I'm out of time now. Let me try to get in one more. Dear Dr. Morris, a friend of mine has had radiotherapy for throat cancer. Yeah, well, let's see. Much love to you. X-ray. That's pretty good. Dublin, Ireland. Yeah. Well, I have to say this. This is common to lose the salivary glands here. His saliva glands are depleted. Yeah, burn them. That's typical. Now he has to worry about getting throat cancer in other places because of radiology. You know, this is the thing. Radiation destroys cells. They just don't get this. You don't destroy cells to stop the destruction of cells, because it just adds to the destruction of cells. Therefore, your cancer spreads. Being that cancer is nothing but damaged cells. You see what I mean? You got to get savvy with the truth and understand what's going on in the smoke screen that's being put out there. So you just got to understand this young man did a bad thing, and now he's got to really get the lymph going in the throat and really get this radiation out of there and enhance the salivary glands, which you can do. It's rebuild these glands. He could maybe, minor pepper with lemon juice maybe to help astringe and pull a little more on that, but he's burned the cells, so there has to be some healing going on, but you have to deal with the original cause of the problem in the first place, which is the lymphatic system, so he's got to go back and do that as well. So these are just some of the things he's got to do. So he has dry mouth. Yes, his esophagus is shrunk. Oh, God. These are some of the things we're dealing with, guys, worldwide. That's why I'm saying this is intellectualism. This is academics at its finest, It's destroy someone's throat. And I see this all and over. And I say that to you singers out there. That's some bad cases where they didn't believe me, and now they're not singers anymore. And some of them are even the ground because they didn't have enough faith, enough understanding. And we try to educate. And just case after case is like this, guys. And this is just bad science. Bad medicine, the worst of the worst. And so it can shrink the esophagus, it can close your throat off, it can swell everything, it can burn everything, and then pretty soon the thyroid's got to come out, and it's just, oh my God, it's on and on and on, because they're creating more cancer by damaging more cells. That's not how you overcome damaged cells, is damaging more cells. I don't know how simple that is. All you guys get it. But you are the cream of the crop. Those guys that tune into this, you guys are the spiritual guys. You guys are the children of the light. You guys are the ones that bring truth to this planet, and you're needed so bad. Stand up for this. He's being fed through a tube in his stomach. Well, that's important. That's okay. But you want to put the juices up that tube. Forget any other food. You want to go get him detoxifying. Get him on grape fast. You can use a syringe. They already know how to do that, obviously. So you're going to feed him through the tube and put the herbs in him through the tube. Do all of that through that tube. and that'll help drain him up here. He'll have some healing crisis, of course. He needs to have some healing crisis up here. You know, you could probably let him gargle with some heal all tea here. If he can swallow a little, or spit it out. That's anti-inflammatory. It'll help draw and heal. You can do that. You can put some comfrey or some healing salves on the throat, hopefully to drive that in with a little bit of, maybe mix it with some castor oil to get in there as an anti-inflammatory. You can do that. At the same time, you want to go after those bowels, you want to go after those kidneys, go after his adrenal glands, go after what you know to be true in detoxification and why he had the problem in the first place. Got to clean up that GI tract. Got to really get a cleansing going on here and a movement through the bowels. Make sure he's moving his bowels. His brain function and mind are as good as always. Perfect. He wants to know how to rebuild, regrow his saliva glands. Absolutely. More than that, the whole esophagus, the throat, everything that was burnt before it becomes cancerous, you know, and really go after this. He was a daily smoker of 20 to 30 cigarettes per day for 30 years. His doctor told him there's no way to regrow these salivary glands, the saliva glands. Bullshit. Pardon me, but absolutely can regrow that. But you see the damage because acids, when you smoke anything, acids burn. They destroy cells, and that's what you got to do. Thanks, X-ray. That's the last one I can grab here, unfortunately, but I'll try to get these up, and we're going to try to do a bunch of videos. I don't know, we got Thanksgiving coming in this week. Maybe Friday I can come in here and do a bunch of videos. I know we got to do a bunch of your eyes and everything like that. So I want you all to relax, you have fun. If you have to cheat a little for Thanksgiving, go have at it, and then go right back in that saddle again and tear it up for you guys. But balance, be happy. Love's going out to each and every one of you. Watch your dreams. Keep working on absorption into God, into living in that present moment. Get a hold of that mind. Keep that mind outside. Only feed it what you want it to know. And the emotions, gain control of that. Don't want anything. You don't need anything. You're all you need. I love you all, and we'll talk to you as soon as we can.